human.
Just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barreiro's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
Guardian for Barreiro today on Bumper to Bumper. Nanne about 30 minutes from now. We'll talk Wild. We'll talk World Juniors with Luigi. Brett Blakemore at the controls on about hour 9 of his board op shift today. The producer, Bumper to Bumper today. What's going on in the top 5?
Time now for the obligatory Kevin Fallness Minnesota Wild mention.
You know, it feels dirty kind of doing that, despite the fact that he had 2 hours to also talk Wild today. But
is that all it was?
It was just 2 hours.
Maybe it was the Rose. I feel like I caught all of it and then was here and caught all of it.
Well, you were on for one of those hours that ate into
That's right.
a potential Common Man program time slot. So the Wild, they're on fire right now. I believe they're 6-1-1 since the Quinn Hughes trade. I think he's got a point in every single game. 5-2 winners in Vegas. It was domination from the start. The game was over probably the end of the first period. 20 seconds in or something, Johansson gets on the board, and then it's a flurry, an avalanche of goals from the Wild. This is a fun team, and I do think they're a move away from being really, really serious contenders. I think Bill Guerin's on that, whether it be an O'Reilly or a Tage Thompson. But this team is fun to watch, and it's fun to have a guy, you know, when Kaprizov has the puck and he's skating, you think he does things that you just don't see anywhere else. Like, that's so unique. Like, you never, and now we got 2 of those guys. Quinn Hughes was embarrassing Vegas. There was a couple times in second period where he literally made me say out loud, wow, I can't believe he just did that. He's so fun to watch. We've got 2 amazing game changers and a lot of depth scoring on the way as well. So what's not to like? How far away are the Wild? They're still a little bit of ways, but they're a lot closer than they were.
But also in the last month, they've beaten both of the teams that you just mentioned, right? They've beaten Dallas and they've beaten Colorado.
Yeah.
And that was before the Quinn Hughes trade.
This is true. It only helps.
That was before we became Quinnesota.
Correct.
And they have 2 goalies that are still, I haven't been around for about a week, but they're still playing really well, right?
They are.
So they are easily the closest. And that feels like it happened fast. I know it's been forever since they felt like a contender. They've had 100-point seasons and things like that. We know about the first-round playoff exits, the whole deal.
But even that 100-point season, they didn't have, like, superstar capability.
You're right. And you remember this because you were on with me the next day after I went to the Washington game, the Capital game, where they blanked the Caps 5-rip, I think. And we opened the show, and I said, it's the Wild and Vegas Golden Knights in the Western Conference Finals, and you're on your own after that. Because the Central teams are going to have to play the Central teams. Someone's got to come out of the Pacific, right? And we'll see who they are. But that's how enamored I was. And that was game 2 of the Quinn Hughes era, I think it was. And I heard Russo even today say he doesn't even know if Hughes has practiced with the Wild yet. He's just out there winging it like you do with Common, 11:45 every day that you fill in for Tenna. Let's just wing it. And I landed, I get my days confused. Saturday night was the overtime winner, right? Where they tied it up. They got the power play 6-on-4 Saturday night in Winnipeg. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you're going to get to the Wolves because you know you have to. It's the obligatory Guardsy
yes,
Wolves update.
I should get that made.
But so you had the 2 going at the same time, and I'll talk about the Wild thing in a minute, but you go from the elation of the Wild to then the Wolves just playing just ridiculously bad, no energy, Saturday night prices, which pisses me off because I'm a ticket buyer. People might not believe it. I mean, I'm a season ticket holder. Oh, good for me with the Wolves. But I actually buy more tickets than probably anybody here at this station. Full disclosure, I get free ones a lot too, but I buy them more often than not just because I don't like always asking. And I mean, I've given my tickets to you before, right?
That's true.
You can vouch for this, right? Like, I purchase tickets. And so I get so offended for the people that are buying the tickets consistently. They're going, and then the team just doesn't bother to show up. this isn't. I should have brought it up because it's to talk about the Wild, but that was the Wolves on Saturday.
Yeah,
Saturday night in the city. You're coming off that epic Christmas game where Ant's going crazy. Joker's going crazy. He's out for like a month, by the way. He got hurt yesterday, and that's what they paid to watch. It just makes me so mad. It just makes me so mad because I know how expensive these games are. So I'm watching the Winnipeg game, though, before. And we just gotten home from the airport, and we're watching it, and the whole family's there, and it's 6-on-4, and they tie it up. And then, my God, was that a good goal in overtime. It was Kaprizov to Hughes. Who scored the game winner?
Boldy.
Who else?
Exactly.
The other 50-goal guy.
Take that, Johnny Athletic.
Johnny Athletic, for sure. And, like, you think about it. It's because it was Kaprizov to Hughes to Boldy, right? It was those three. So think about that sentence right there. Kaprizov to Hughes to Boldy. My God. That's a hell of a trio. And that's three big knockers. And they stole that game in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
They had, getting the goal late and then coming out in OT and finishing it. Like, that's when you know things are going well. It's tremendous. It's as good as it gets. And we love it because we carry all the games and it's fun to watch. And we desperately, especially every show's like this, but I know I speak for Dan, when we can have a run and you can cover it and you can get the guests you want to get and you can follow the games and feel the energy. For me, there's nothing more invigorating than that. And you feel like, again, they're going to have to go through the gauntlet, as you mentioned. The Central is no joke.
Yeah.
But it feels like they have a chance, which is as much as you can ask for.
I think it's ridiculous with this playoff format that, three of the top teams in the NHL are all in the Central. You're going to finish third. I mean, a team is going to finish third in the entire NHL and not have home ice advantage in the first round.
Yeah, they got to fix that. Kind of like the wild card thing in the NFL. Or like the Vikings went through last year, and like Seattle or San Francisco is going to feel like this year. It's a 12-win team at least that'll be a wild card.
I had the exact same experience as you Saturday night, except the other game I was watching was in Green Bay, and they didn't show up for that game either, and people paid their hard-earned money and sat outside on a Saturday just for their defense to completely not show up and not care.
And
not to make it about Green Bay. But,
no, but it does bother me. And I know just because you bought a ticket doesn't mean that it's going to work out, but just the effort stuff bothers me. And I actually, because I said that on Saturday, I think I reiterated first on Twitter that it's the Wild and Vegas Golden Knights in the Western Conference Finals, and you're on your own after that. And then I said just an absolutely putrid display of basketball by the Wolves. And then it dawned on me, because I had no idea what day it was, Saturday night too, which means tickets are more expensive and people from out of town are more likely to come in. And I got multiple replies from people saying, yeah, I came in from out of town, brought my son, brought my daughter. That sucked. Why did I do that? And I just feel bad for those people, because it is a big deal. And somebody just texted into the Bradshaw and Bryan KFAN text line, 64686. Like, it was for the people that was their game to go to. Maybe they got a Christmas present 2 days before, and it said, hey, we're going to the Wolves game. They're playing the Nets, who, yes, I know they've been playing hard, and they play together, and they always try, but they'd won, I think, 9 games before they came in here. Like, come on, that should be a wrap. Like that. Now, fairness and savagery, the Wolves handled Chicago last night. Little slow start. Then Ant showed up, and bang, it was pretty much a laugher. But I would say that's required. That's required. And I'm a Wolves A1 Day 1 Timberwolves Breakfast Club 1989 waiting for Bill Musselman's autograph on a pennant that I still have. All right? So I've been with this club. I love this club. But there's still too much of that stuff. And even Finchie said it after Saturday. It's like self-awareness, it's only good if you do something about it. Like Seinfeld once said, anybody can just take a reservation. You have to hold the reservation. Dan Aykroyd and Tommy Boy, you've pinpointed the problem. Now step 2 is washing it off. Pine Tree air freshener. Like, we should be past this with the Wolves, and that's what is frustrating about it. Anyway, we were talking about the Wild.
Yeah, we were. I was going to move on to the Wolves. Yeah, you did mention. I
got to it.
Yeah, I think you got to it. I think it was interesting that Naz Reid actually led in points in Chicago. And the Prince uniforms in Chicago as well.
Yeah, he shot very well. Should we get to the World Juniors update? Halvey's standing by. I think we need to get. I have it. He just texted me. Halvey, he is ready. And it's nice that Dan's going to be able to join us for this as well. The World Juniors continues. A lot of the games are right here on the Fan. We're going to talk to Louie about it about 20 minutes from now. They play Sweden tomorrow night. I'm going to be there for that one. Oh, good for me. And hopefully I'll be there Friday as well for the quarters. Oh, good for me. But let's check in with Halby.
Now let's head to the X for a high school hockey tournament update.
Well, let me make sure he's there. Hang on.
I thought he was there. Oh, he's not even ready yet? Zach, are you there yet? Did you find him?
I found him.
That's outstanding.
Hey, Zach, you there?
Sorry about that. Yeah, I was just in the press conference for Bruce Pland after their 6-5 victory over St. Cloud Cathedral, and they're obviously pretty happy. A heck of a hockey game, the second of two great games here at the X thus far. It sets up a Class A championship game tomorrow between Hermantown and Monticello Annandale Maple Lake. So, Guardsy, Barreiro, it's going to be a
Why don't you catch your breath?
Yeah,
why don't you head to Trio?
Zach, are you all right?
I literally sprinted across the Bell Saber press box.
Is there a medic at the XL Energy Center? Trio Orthopedic Center.
All right, we'll take over from here, and we'll get back to you a little bit later. You catch your breath. We don't want,
I think I'm ready.
You think you're ready now? You think you
Yes, I think so.
All right, well, then
you got a
hold
couple
on. If you're not,
by the way, I
don't.
got an echo in my ear. If you could take that out.
He's got an echo is what he's going. Abbott. It's Abbott's fault he's got an echo, probably.
Probably. Narrator would say he was, in fact, not ready. He was, in fact, not ready to go.
Hermantown.
So more Halby tomorrow with the Sweden United States game. I think Parrish is with them as well. It's going to be immediately following the Wild game against San Jose. The Wild are on the road, obviously, because Grand Casino Arena is being used for the World Juniors. We'll talk to Luigi a little bit more about that. Anything else you want to get to in the top five?
Do you want to straddle or do you want...
We can straddle.
All right.
Let's straddle.
Let's do it.
Good clock management.
Thank you.
Let's straddle. We've got more to get to. What are we talking about on the other side?
Sean McVay plans to play the starters in Week 18 despite them having nothing to play for, and I think it's ridiculous.
All right. I look forward to it.
Before the ball drops, drop your take. It's a Purple Talkback Tuesday on KFAN. Open the iHeartRadio app, hit the red microphone icon when you're listening to KFAN, and in 30 seconds or less, tell us your favorite Vikings moment from 2025. Winners all day long. KFAN.com, keyword contest for more info.
Let's get to Brett Blakemore's final couple of top 5 at 5 nuggets before Lou Nanne joins us to talk World Juniors as well as the hottest team in hockey and the team perhaps closest to a championship in their respective sport that we have here in Minnesota right now. That would be the Minnesota Wild, but you've got a few more things you want to covenant clean up here before we kick it over to Luigi.
So I did want to mention the Sean McVay stuff. That was what I teased, so I'll go with it. He said earlier, because they have essentially nothing to play for. Maybe there's some seeding. You go from a 4 to a 5, I'm not sure. But they're out of the NFC West, which it felt like they were a shoo-in for the 1 seed. Like, without a doubt, they looked like the favorite.
That's true, and Stafford's like MVP candidate.
Well, he couldn't stop turning the ball over.
Whoops.
Whoopsie. But McVay said, no, they were going to play anyways, they being the starters. We need to play. We need to play better football, so I don't know what the consequences are in those different types of things, but we've got to play better. I'm here to tell you, we'll see. Maybe they come out on the other side of things. They play great next week, and they go into the playoffs. They're playing Arizona. Maybe they go in with all the momentum in the world because they played great against the Cardinals, and here we go. But if one key piece gets hurt, more than they already have,
yeah,
it's a tough gamble to make. And I think we're going to have a live analog of the Rams playing Arizona with essentially nothing to play for. They're going to play their starters, and Green Bay, who have nothing to play for, and are probably not going to play their starters by all accounts. I highly doubt Jordan Love's even in pads, let alone sees the field.
Yeah, but let me ask you this, because I understand the point you're making. What if Jordan Love was healthy? What if Jordan Love was just straight up healthy?
Mm-hmm.
Would you want him to play this weekend?
No.
You would still, with everything, if he had no injury issues, if he was healthy, if everything was fine.
He practiced all last week,
and
they didn't play him.
But would you want him, because I think that's the difference, is that he's banged up. right? Has been for a couple of weeks. They need him to be healthy to have any shot, right, at making any type of run.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's a tough one because and we do this every year, right? This isn't a new conversation. We do this every year.
That's why fantasy championships are on week 17,
It's
not
true.
18.
Do you rest him or I'm going to trust the guy, though, that's won the Super Bowl, that knows the pulse of his team, that knows what it looks like to win a Super Bowl. And if he doesn't feel like they're there and they need to play a little bit more, he's not going to be stupid. If the game gets out of hand, I'm guessing he'll get guys out. But
yeah,
I see what you're saying. I always lean play. I usually lean play because I do think football is one of those sports. You see it in a lot of these games right now. Like, I think you'll see it in some of these college football bowl games. The teams that just won, and we could even look this up from last year. I know some of it's different because the quote-unquote worst teams had the higher seeds last year, like the Arizona States.
Yeah.
Who else was in
up.
there? Exactly, your squad. Mm-hmm. I saw their football coach, by the way. Did I tell you this?
No.
I might tell that story after Louis because I was in a predicament. And I didn't know what to do in Phoenix last week. Did I tell you I was in Phoenix? I think Oregon has an advantage over Texas Tech this week because they played. I think Alabama has a little advantage over Indiana because they played recently. I think football is one of those things. They're so ritualistic. They're so ingrained in the process. Just getting your body, if you're injured or you're a little bit hurt, then yeah, you sit if there's nothing to play for. But if you're healthy and you're just ready to go, I think you play. I think you play and you get ready to go.
I'm not necessarily saying it's wrong. I'm just saying this debate that has been raging on, it's an evergreen debate, especially this time of the year, we'll have a live, it may work out that they play unbelievable and that, it's the classic rest versus rust.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, and they could play great and the momentum carries on and they make a deep run in the playoffs. Or something terrible happens, and knock on wood, we don't want anything but if a key piece were to go down and
it's easy to second guess. It's the easiest second guess of all time, probably. Because
it's the most hindsight thing of all time, too. Because you go into the first round and now you're, God forbid, missing your quarterback or a star wide receiver. Now you're like, why the hell did we play him in a meaningless game? That made no sense. So it's the easy Monday morning quarterback. But
you're doing it beforehand.
I'm not even saying it's wrong. I'm just saying we're going to have a live experiment and we'll see. It's a huge gamble. I think it's a bigger gamble than sitting them and potentially coming out rusty. Because at least you're healthy. At least they're playing. That's true. For this, you're done if someone's gone.
Are you going to the border battle this weekend?
I am. I will be there.
Are you excited?
I'm excited to be there, and I think the Vikings put on I'll have a fun time. And they put on a great presentation. I love going to games. I went to the Commanders game. Yeah. That was a fun one to be at.
Yeah.
For the game itself, not really. Malik Willis go crazy.
I know.
I was really scared when they lost to the Bears. I was really scared it would come down to this week and the Vikings would come into this game being able to play spoiler and just go, we're going to knock them out of the playoffs. And because I've been to one of those games. The last time Rodgers played for the Pack was against the Lions, who had nothing to play for besides eliminate us.
Yeah, that's right.
That was the worst 4-hour drive after a game I've ever had. It was all-time low moment. Rodgers is gone. We're out of the playoffs. What's going to happen next? It hasn't been too bad, but not a whole lot of playoff success either.
What's the temperature? Because you and I have not talked since all the injuries and the ACLs and all that stuff. And how has it been? On the Packer Preview Review podcast show, how's Davey doing? I know, didn't he fill in at some point last week? I think he filled
in last week and this week
on Bumper to Bumper. Yeah. Again, I don't know what day it is, so forgive me on Chad Abbott's schedule, but yeah, I do.
You might need it for best of later.
Thank you. I know. Yeah. I'm well aware of the best of that I need to put together for a host that hasn't been here in 2 weeks. So that should be a hell of a show on New Year's Day. I look forward to figuring out what I come up with, having just done Christmas best of last week. But that'll be great. I'm sure it'll be good. Tune in New Year's Day. Who knows what you're gonna miss? I know Gerby canceled Christmas, basically. Yes. I caught that, but then it turns out that they did have Christmas. The holiday spirit moved them or something like that, and they did end up having some type of Christmas. We will talk to him on Friday, so we'll get the update there. But how's it been what's the group chat looking like with Sinekin and you right now?
Well, I'll say pre-Denver, I'll just say it. We were thinking soupy. We were thinking Super Bowl. This is, I mean, everything's coming together. Everyone's playing great. Mike is a game changer. And then within 20 real world minutes, Watson, Micah, Zach, Tom, everyone just starts dropping like flies. And especially the Micah one where you just knew right away, non-contact, no one within 5 feet of him, and just goes down holding his knee. You knew it was over. And then the Broncos defense is no joke. So that's just shock and awe. And the Bears game after that was just devastation. It was very 2014 NFC Championship game, an onside kick muffed. Was that
against Seattle?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I knew. I just wanted to.
Yeah, it was.
Russell Wilson. Weren't you guys up 21-0 in that game? Yeah, 3 touchdowns.
My mom said, "Why are you watching this game? They already won."
That's too bad.
Anyways,
that didn't work out.
Yeah. I was in freshman in high school at that point.
Do you feel like, though, you guys deserve it at all? Because the second that anything really gets going, like you and Sinekin are so insufferable and arrogant and cocky, and you'll start wearing your Packer stuff here like every day. Do you feel like
I've got a wide collection?
I know you do, but do you feel like the second that you show a post, which, like, remember 2 years ago, you didn't do it until like this week.
Yes.
Because Rodgers last year, because the team was dreadful, and then Tua had the concussions, which still pisses me off. And
just threw a gift to Jair.
Multiple gifts, and that completely resurrected your whole season. I didn't even know you were a Packer fan until like December 30th because they had been so bad, and then all of a sudden you started wearing your stuff. Do you feel like your obnoxious arrogance brings any of this upon you? That the second that Jordan Love starts looking like the guy that he should be for the money that he's making, you guys flaunt it in our faces when, once again, we're going through it with a quarterback.
You're eliminated at that point.
Quarterback meltdown, and we're a disaster. And my guy Brosmer, the Brownstones are empty right now, which is not fun around the holidays. Do you feel like you deserve any of what comes to you?
Do I think it affects anything? No.
No, I don't think it does either. But do you feel like maybe you guys should slow roll a little bit instead of after you beat the Lions week 1 saying we're going to the Super Bowl?
Well, I mean, if you judge from the tweets and texts that we get in response, which granted we bring on and we do get people going.
Saying, yeah.
So there is that aspect to it.
You're not expecting any sympathy is what what I'm getting for, because I have none.
And that's fine.
I have none.
No.
I love you. I have none.
That's fair. I mean, I've seen one big game in my lifetime, which I understand is one more than most people listening.
Including me.
I was in middle school and it was amazing, but I have experienced nothing but playoff heartbreak and great quarterback play, and we're blessed, but it's not like I'm rolling in. I'm not a Chiefs fan. I'm not a Patriots fan. I'm not rolling in the rings.
How about the Patriots being just rock solid again?
Yeah.
Coaching matters. It really does. You just look around the league, the teams that are kind of back at it. And I hate to say it, but Sean Payton obviously is a good coach.
Yeah.
And I know they're doing a lot of it defensively, and Bo Nix has been, solid. He's not Drew Brees 2.0, but you look at Vrabel, you look at Ben Johnson, you look at Harbaugh. The Chargers now are 11-5 after kind of scuffling through the middle portion of the season. They really have coaching matters. And I know that sounds stupid, but it really matters.
I do want to set the record straight on one thing before we leave the green and gold permanently.
Your arrogance?
No one ripped Green Bay more after that loss than me and Sinekin. We ripped them to shreds on Packer Preview/review. It was embarrassing. And so it's not like it's just, we're still going to the Super Bowl. No one doubted. It was soft, gutless. They wanted no part. It looked like they were the Dolphins that just didn't want any part in playing in the cold weather. It was embarrassing.
I love this text to walk us off before we get to Lou Nanne. It's not about you. And I don't even know if you know this inside joke.
Okay.
It's not really an inside joke, but it proves the point of some of the things we're up against sometimes. When you do a show that's very topical all the time, which is bumper to bumper, which is why I like it, because it's always fresh. It's always new. We like to think so, at least. We're always covering whatever's happening, right? 10 to B, I think, has the easiest, best of job ever. Let's just rack up program password for 3 hours, a couple of rock talks in there, and we're on with the rest of our day, right?
They're all evergreen, as we call them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Ours are not, so it's a little bit different. 763 text says, I'll be working Thursday. Wouldn't mind hearing Sarah Spain again for best of. I always love that one. That is Steve in Andover. Maybe I will play Sarah Spain for best of. I think that would be the 4th time that I would have used it for a best of situation. I'll give that some thought. Maybe Sarah Spain can make a comeback on New Year's Day. How's it going in the World Junior Hockey Championship of the World? We'll ask Lou Nanne and a lot more when we come back.
Well, she sneaks around the world from India to Carolina. She's a sticky-fingered filcher from Berlin down to Belize. She'll take you for a ride on a slow boat to China. Tell me, where in the world is Lou Nanne?
Brought to you by Kemp's Luigi. Nana, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year on the Connecticut Water Systems Hotline. How are you?
Same to my favorite football broadcaster from the Gophers that brought him a big win.
It was huge. You wanted overtime in the Rate Bowl, didn't you? You weren't going to be ready to start the World Juniors until the Rate Bowl came to its natural conclusion. Is that fair to say?
Well, I don't call that a natural conclusion. I was hoping it ends sooner.
Yeah, I wasn't because I was enjoying Arizona, which I know you can appreciate, and the 70 degrees and sun that we had. How about this, Luigi? I was at a Walgreens in somewhere, Paradise Valley, Scottsdale, somewhere, and they had hand warmers at the cashier at the checkout. Can you think of a dumb? I mean, I know it gets soft when you live down south and 56 degrees feels cold, but that to me was the funniest thing I saw the entire trip was hand warmers in Scottsdale.
Yeah, it is funny when you get the sun cities anywhere down the southern part of the United States, when they get to 55, 60 degrees, all of a sudden you see fur coats coming out, too.
Yeah, some nice coats, as I don't have to tell you in Scottsdale for sure. All right, I want to talk World Juniors first, and then I want to talk Wild. You obviously have had a lot to do with the World Juniors the last year or so coming into the build-up. Now that it's here, just what's it been like to watch, to be a part of, to see? Obviously, the U.S. is on a great run. The arena looks awesome. I'll be there tomorrow for Sweden, which I'm excited about. It's the first time I've been around to actually go to the game. So now that it's here, what's it like to see the event match the build-up?
Well, first of all, the hockey's been terrific. It's just been absolutely terrific. It doesn't matter, which building you go to, whether you go to the Grand Casino or you go to 3M at Mariucci, you're going to see some good games and a lot of talent out there, that's for sure. And a number of close games between the best teams. And I get a little concerned about that because we're, as you know, into a one-game playoff when we start with the quarterfinals, and you lose one and you're out, you win, you keep going. So it's going to be tough. The crowds have been good, real good at Grand Casino for the U.S. We knew that we were going to be a little disappointed in the crowds at 3M at Mariucci because many of the Canadians didn't come down, but the games have been good there, and there's still the Canadian games have still had some loud people cheering for them there, and all the countries. The good part about it, they seem to have a good representation. Many, I know one of my friends was just talking, he said, I was just with some of the Swedes. They were really excited to come to Minnesota. It's the first time they've ever been there. And I know looking at the German delegation, they had a number of families there. So all of the families have come. And the reason why I'm excited, because I've been seeing it for a year, and I think it's even more now. The state of Minnesota, and especially the Twin Cities, needs to get some positive publicity. And this junior tournament does it for you. It gives you exposure to much of the good parts of the Minnesota and the state, and we're getting that around the world. TSN, I'm just watching the game now with Latvia and
yep, I've got it on.
Denmark. They're covering all day long in Canada. We got the NHL Network all day long here. We got the European broadcasters and media. So the coverage has been excellent. TSN's got, I think they got 2 crews here. And I know I've just talked to, we talk about Jeff Merrick. Merrick called me today. He was supposed to be here yesterday, the podcaster, and we were going to do a podcast yesterday. We'll probably do it later in the week. But they've had some bad travel problems coming from Toronto. They've closed the airport for a couple of days, but he's doing tonight about 7:30. So he'll finally get here, and that helps a little bit because we have been having some people have a tough time getting here from the Canadian cities because of the storms.
Yeah, I was going to say, how fitting is it that as we're welcoming the world to Minneapolis, we have our first big Snownami event, and not in freezing rain and blowing snow, but it should feel like hockey weather, right? If this was, I'm sure you would take Hawaii weather, you always would, or Palm Beach weather, you always would. But it's kind of fitting that if you want to make it to this thing, you got to. It's like going out to the pond when you were a kid. You got to buck up and get out there.
Well, the best part about it is they show it on television, and nothing shows any more beautiful than snow on the trees.
That's right.
And you can't see the ice in the road; you can see snow in the road. So snow is pretty. Yeah, in my mind, it's best seen from afar. But
that's right.
I used to like to see it from close. It's a gorgeous look for the Twin Cities. So we like that part of it.
I loved what Bob Motzko said before the tournament, that our job as coaches, he's talked about the depth of the U.S. team and how many great players, maybe even some of the best players weren't on the team because they had a need for something else or they had a different thought. And obviously there's talent all over the United States. You're a part of that, growing the game down in Florida like you have been for 20 years. But he said, the depth has never been better. We've got a super talented group. Our job, and I'm paraphrasing, is to give them bumpers and let the talent shine. Through the group play, is that what you've seen from the U.S. side of things?
Well, I'm a little nervous about the U.S. play so far, and because, first of all, we lost two of our best players, and Cole Hudson got hit with that shot behind his neck, and he's in concussion protocol. I think they might keep him out all the time. I'm not certain about that. He might be out for 7 days, and Plante got hurt last night too. So I don't know how severe that is, and those are two key players, and our goaltending. It's been a little bit soft, especially in the first and third games, and I know we're going to need better goaltending than that. And our play last night, we started off pretty good the first 5 minutes. After that, we didn't play very well in the first period. I was getting concerned, but we bounced back really good in the second and third period. The U.S. played really well, and should have won, deserved to win, and did win. That's the best part about it. But I get concerned because, as I said, we're going to that one-game playoff here after tomorrow's game with Sweden, which is going to be important for seeding. And that's something that's why I'm watching this Latvian and Denmark game, because Latvia last year knocked Canada out in that crossover in the quarterfinals. The year before, Czech knocked Canada out. And it's looking to me like we may catch either. I think it could be either Latvia or Finland, and they're all tough games. But those games always concern me. We got to get to the quarterfinal day on Saturday. Is really important to get that, or Sunday to get that game, because that gives you a chance to get a medal.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you because. Obviously, tomorrow is for Group A, USA and Sweden, and I wondered if that is as important as people say it is, or maybe as someone like me would assume. And you're saying, the go get the group, go get the top seed. I think Bob said, the seed's important, but I just want us to be playing well. Does it matter? Is it big time for you? Like, obviously, it's an important game tomorrow.
Yes, it is. Yeah. The first thing I wanted to stay away, the U.S. to stay away from was any matchup with Canada in the quarterfinals. I didn't want to see that for sure. Which I don't think it'd have to be a couple of big upsets for us to have to play them. But I was hoping for Latvia, and I think there's a chance of the U.S. But we got to play good against Sweden. That's the key.
Yep. That
Swedish game, and Swedes right now, I'd say, are the dark horse to win it behind Canada and the U.S. So we'll see what happens.
All right, I want to talk about a couple individual players in this tournament, and you already mentioned one of them, Cole Hudson, for the casual. And I would put myself, even though, as you know, I'm a hockey dad, proud Mite 4 dad, and my son will be going to at least one of these games with me here in the next few days. Bob called him their best player straight up, which I think is a pretty big compliment. So who are they missing right now in Cole Hudson?
Well, just look at Quinn Hughes. and he's the same size. He's not Quinn Hughes, but he's really a top defenseman. He was the leading scorer, I think, on the team last year in the championship games in Ottawa, and he was a dominant player there. He and Bouillon played together, and they were sensational. He's back this year, and the odd part of it, I'll have to tell you, because I've been watching this kid, and he's really a good hockey player. And I rarely ever see him make a couple of mistakes in a row. And the shift that he got hurt, I was just saying to my wife, that's the most mistakes I've ever seen that kid make. And he had 3 times that he had an opportunity to get the puck out and cleanly and didn't, or he got it out and they took it right back in instead of what his usual play is, like Hughes getting the puck out of the zone. He's so good at that. And not getting it out that last time is when they took the shot from the blue line and he turned around to watch a guy in front of the net and he got it right in the neck. And that's when he got hurt. Mm-hmm. But he's a real tremendous talent and the backbone of that defense for moving the puck and setting up plays. They got another excellent defenseman there. I think it's going to be a real high draft pick. His name's Chaz Reed, number 25. He's big. He moves the puck well. He's going to have to improve just a little bit defensively, and he will because he's so young right now. He plays in Sault Ste. Marie with the junior Greyhounds, but he's a real good one. But when you're missing the guy, your puck mover and also point producer, that's huge. And Plant is, he's just a terrific player, and he was having a good tournament. And I hope he's not hurt bad enough that he can't play tomorrow.
I have to ask you about Will Zellers because that's a name that jumps out if you're from Minnesota. And I remember Kurt Zellers years and years ago sending out a tweet about going to watch Maple Grove in the state hockey tournament. I thought, oh, that's cool. He's checking out his constituents. He's hanging out. He's, being one with the people. And I didn't realize his kid was a wagon until like 2 years ago. It's a small world, Luigi. It's pretty cool that Will Zellers is on this team and obviously a really good player. What do we need to know about him?
Well, we need to know that this kid's really been a force offensively for him. He's been terrific scoring goals. And even the one that he got last night, he went to the net like you should go to the net. A pass came and actually carried it off his skate. If it was on a stick, he would have just tapped it in because he had the whole wide open net. But he's been a real force for them offensively, and he's been extremely productive, much more so than I think they thought he would be because we weren't sure at the end if he was getting on a team or not. But he's been really good. He's been good in college this year, and he's been real good for his team, and he's been an offensive leader for him.
We're talking with Lou Nanne making his weekly appearance on Bumper to Bumper. He's brought to you by Kemp's on the Connecticut Water Systems Hotline. We're going to talk Wild here in a minute as well with a dominant performance over Vegas yesterday. They've got San Jose tomorrow. I've got some Wild questions for Luigi, but a couple of more about the World Juniors. Give us the state of Canada's game throughout the tournament as someone who's there looking to get back on the medal stand, and obviously this means a lot to him up there, as you know very well. I know McKenna had a hat trick the other day. They had 9 goals, and I want to know more about him in particular in a second, but you mentioned you want to avoid them in the quarterfinals at all costs. They're going for Group B tomorrow night while the U.S. goes for Group A. What's the state of their game in play right now?
Well, in the first game, and I want to tell you that game with Czech that they had, it was Canada and Czech. I keep saying Czechoslovakia. The countries were split. We got both Czechs and Slovaks now, but Czech and Canada produced a game that you would want to see night in and night out. It was tremendous. There were 9-minute stretches of no whistles, just puck movement. Transition was phenomenal. I actually think that the Czechs could have won that game just as easily as they lost it. They lost 6-4 with an open net goal, but they essentially outshot Canada, and I think that they had the little margin of play too. But Canada has got a couple of real good players. One is Brady Martin. He was drafted number 5 last year, I think he was, and he was tremendous in that first game. And Martone and the captain, he's also good. And they talk, McKenna could be the first pick overall.
Yep.
But McKenna, that game wasn't nearly as good as those two or Ginlia. Ginlia's son had a tremendous game there. So they've got an excellent team, but they almost lost that game. They had to go to overtime to beat Latvia that knocked them out last year. So they're not winning like they should be winning, but they are winning. That's the difference. But it cost them a point now in that standing when they had to win in overtime rather than if you win in regulation you get 3 points, two if you win in overtime and 1 if you lose in overtime. So that was a big point for them, but I don't think it's going to hurt them. But they do have good depth, good size, good speed, and they move the puck really well.
So let's transition to the Wild in our remaining minutes. I mentioned they win again yesterday. They play again tomorrow. I went to the Washington game, Luigi, with my 9-year-old, and I told him I was excited he was going to get to see Ovechkin play because, how many more opportunities are we going to get to have that? Ovechkin's a little older. I think we'll all agree he might not be the Ovi, that we remember from 15 years ago. So my 9-year-old doesn't believe me that he scored more goals than anybody because he wasn't much of a factor that night. He's like, "Are you sure, Dad? That's the guy?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's the guy. He's just 40. Like, just trust me, all right?" And he's 40. But the Quinn Hughes thing, now that we've had 2 weeks to kind of watch it, I said it the next day. I used to just watch Kaprizov when I would be at the games because it's just, for me, so much fun to just watch him. I've moved on to Hughes because it's the same phenomenon and it's the newer version of it. And even the other day, when I got home from Phoenix on Saturday night, you watch that overtime goal and it's Kaprizov to Hughes to Boldy. That's pretty damn exciting. And it's such a refreshing thing to feel that about this team that it really feels like they have a chance to make this thing pretty interesting. What have your early Hughes impressions been?
Well, he's been everything that they advertised why they wanted him. When you watch him play, as you said, it's effortless, it's smooth, and it's just the right play. He just knows how to always make the right play. Coming out of his zone, look at how much easier the Wild are getting out of their zone, how he relieves pressure. When he has the puck, 95 times out of 100, he's going to make the right play, and the puck's going to be out of the zone. He is just so good at puck movement. He's so good at his skates, the way he can just get out of trouble. They said he could stick handle in the phone booth, and I'm serious. It's just amazing the kind of agility he has on skates, and the fact that he knows when to move up with the play, when to hold back. And as you said in the overtime, I started laughing with that goal. It was so perfect.
Yeah.
It was such a beautiful play, and you got the 3 stars on the team making it so effortlessly. The fans are very, very lucky to have that threesome to watch, and I'm really confident they're going to sign Hughes. And so when you look ahead to what you got to watch with the Wild for years with that threesome, it's just spectacular. And then you got all the other good players with him. I mean, we could start naming the other ones there, like Faber and Eriksson, et cetera. And the goaltending's been excellent. The defense now with that move, now you got three good sets of defensemen to play. And they all have different strengths and, the ability of Brodin to skate and defend, and you got physicalness back there with Middleton and Bogosian. It's just and you still got Spurgeon, Smart, and while he played, and the goals he got last night were just fantastic. I didn't like to stay up that late, but I had to watch it. It was worthwhile.
Well, I go back to, when you and I would be watching the games at what was then the X in the KFAN booth, and the Wild get a power play, right? And you just watch them, kind of muck around and have trouble getting it into the zone, and they're tripped up at the blue line, and then the puck gets thrown all the way down there, and it's like, all right, what are they going to do here? The first power play against Washington, Hughes just takes it. It's like having a penetrating point guard in basketball that just controls everything. He takes it. Louis, they had the puck for 90 seconds. The first line power play was out in the first power play for 90 seconds before they had to change because they just had the puck that long. That's something that we just have not seen here forever. And that's what and he just got here like 36 hours before that, and he was already making that big of an impact.
Well, you have to realize that when you look at it, there's only two guys essentially in the league that control a puck that well from the fence. It's Makar and it's Hughes. That's why it was even fun to watch him play against Colorado. And that night, Colorado had the better of it. But those two defensemen, when they get the puck and start moving with it or move the puck, it is fun to watch because it's done quickly, it's done properly, and it just the transition for both of those teams just gets that much better when they got a hold of that puck. And Makar, both of them, they do it all the time. That's why the fans are so lucky to be able to watch this. The guy is, you would say he's just a genius. If he was a teacher, they're a genius. They have genius in their ability to move that puck and make the right plays.
Let's wrap it up with a text from Ed in St. Paul. Please ask Lou about the USA Hockey Olympic team that's due to be revealed on Friday, if he has any insight or expects a surprise or two with the Olympics right around the corner. What do we need to know? Anything?
Well, I don't have any insight, but I do expect some surprises. And I say that because I'm not certain about some of the physical conditions. Some of the guys, they got some guys injured, and I don't know what the situation is with their injuries. They never talk about injuries.
Yeah,
we'll let you know what's going on, but like I think there's got to be a change, at least one change, I think, on defense from what they had, and one change at forward. At least they could have two changes at forward. So we'll see what happens. I also think Canada will have two changes. I think Canada will add Celebrini and Wilson, which they didn't have before. And I don't know how you could ever leave off that Wilson off the Canadian team when he's produced like he has, and he's also so big and physical, and you need that in the game. So it's going to be interesting, but they can name the team, but you still got a lot of games till they get to playing.
Sure.
The way guys are going down right now, there could be, and I wouldn't be surprised if there will be, some critical injuries to these teams.
Will the arena in Italy be done? Have we made progress on that in the last couple of weeks?
Well, it'll be done. They're not going to not get it done if they got to work 24 hours a day.
Yeah,
they're not going to make a big stink about the 3.5 feet shorter, but they got to get all the construction part done so it doesn't affect the players. When you get down to it, if you had to play just the players without the crowd, you do it because you still got the TV revenue and that, and that's it's a big centerpiece of the Olympics. Hockey's a big part of it as scheme as well. So I'm sure they'll be playing, and there might be some stuff in the building that they're not happy with, but the games will go on.
Yeah, I feel like we do this every 2 or 4 years with the Olympics, right? That some venue is in danger of not being ready, or the river in France isn't going to be up to code. Remember, we talked about that last year, that there was too much sewage, even though they drained the whole thing. And then it seemed like I remember LeBron and Steph and Anthony Edwards and Simone Biles all on those boats in Paris. I feel like everything went off without a hitch there, so that was good. So
I was in Greece 1 year before the Summer Olympics, and it was a month before, and I was sure that they weren't going to be able to participate, and they did. So somehow, some way, they always get it done.
All right, so the finals, the championship game for the World Juniors, I think is next Monday, right? It's on the 5th, if I remember correctly. Right. I assume Tuesday, January 6th, it's a 6 a.m. MSP to PBI, or how quickly are you moving?
You're wrong. I'm going on the championship day. I'm going on the 6th.
You're going to drop the puck like you did for the outdoor game? Say hi to everybody?
I asked them, do I have any duties on the last day? And they said, no. I said, I'm out of here.
Oh.
I'll catch.
What if it's USA-Canada?
I got the 8:50 out. I'll be able to watch on TV. I'll be there by 10:30 Minneapolis time, and so I'll watch it on TV.
Oh man, see, I thought you'd at least go through, but I don't have any. They're not. I'm going to talk to somebody there, and I'm going to talk to Wendy and say Louis needs to do some at the title game. Let's have him drop the puck, especially if it's USA Canada. I mean, those are your two countries.
I dropped it in the first game. I don't have to drop it anymore.
No, we're going to get a petition. We're going to make you stay just to bother you. Great stuff. Great to hear your voice. I will hopefully maybe see you tomorrow. I'm going to hopefully make it on Friday as well. So I'm looking forward to getting down there. The videos that I've seen and just watching the games and listening to the games here in the fan. It's exciting. It's cool that it's here. I know you're excited for it as well, even if you are leaving on Championship Monday. And hope to see you down there, Luigi. Thanks again.
Okay, buddy. Look forward to it. Thanks.
That
See you.
is Lou Nanne on the Connecticut Water Systems Hotline, brought to you, as always, by Chems. Final half hour, bumper to bumper on this Monday. We'll get back to some of the Vikings discussion, the Flores discussion, maybe a Wolves thing or two, definitely a Wild thing or two. A lot more to get to in our final 25 minutes here.
We're going out with a bang Friday with a border battle feast. Join us, Buffalo Wild Wings Egan's Paul Allen, Nordo, Alec Lewis. Take a step for a season finale against Green Bay. I bet Sinekin will be there as well. Enjoy great food, lots of football talkers, your shot at prizes. Doors open at 8 a.m. Full details, KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
So I'm a Minnesotan, Brett Blakemore. I try not to take on all of our worst traits. I try not to be super defensive, although I'm reminded almost daily about how much I'm annoyed by the fact that Indianapolis continues to call themselves the greatest host city of all time and everything is better in Indy. And the national media just laps it up because they like to go to St. Elmo's and have shrimp cocktail, which is fine. It's good, but Costco has shrimp cocktail too, and it's also fine and good. And it's a lot less expensive, and you can get a lot more of it. And we've all had it. If you've been to Indy and you're a media member, you've been to St. Elmo's, and it's a great steakhouse, but we've got Murray's, and we've got Manny's, and we've got Jack's, and we've got Pittsburgh Blue like everybody else does. Capitol Grill. It's not that big of a deal. But I have to say, I got a little annoyed earlier in the week, and it's World Junior Hockey related, where I'm watching a game right now between Latvia and Denmark. Looks like Latvia is going to prevail. 4.1 seconds to go. Spoiler alert for those DVRing it.
Oh, you just ruined somebody's night.
Yeah.
You know that.
Apologies to the Latvians and the Danish. But it's 5-3. Looks like Latvia kind of dominated, too. Oh, they just put in the empty netter. You're about a second ahead of me there. But there was all this. There's like a rivalry between the U.S. and Canada, right?
There is.
For obvious reasons, because we're bordering countries. Apparently, there's a lot of things going on between us politically right now. I'm trying to stay out of all of that. I'm not really that interested in any of it. Maybe I should be. I know that no one from Canada is coming to these games, which I think is hurting attendance at 3M Arena at Mariucci. I'm sure some people are checking out the Canadian team because they've got a lot of good players, right? That we're definitely going to see in the NHL. It's the preeminent hockey, country in the world. And the U.S. has obviously made some inroads there. But it was starting to bother me last week. And you might remember when the Big Ten tournament was here for basketball. There was somebody from Indiana that basically tweeted out a picture on quarterfinal Thursday. Like, this would never happen in Indy. For the 11 o'clock game, by the way, which I've been to, oh, good for me, in Indy, in Chicago, at multiple Big Ten tournament sites in the 20 years that I've done this job, 20 plus. And it just set me off because Indiana thinks they invented basketball. Now what's funny is they're a football school. And even though we stayed at the Graduate Hotel in Indy and all the room keys were characters from Hoosiers, I got Norman Dale, like ID cards, because it's the Graduate Hotel. They're a football school now, and they're really not even that concerned with basketball. But they think they invented it. They think every Big Ten tournament should be there. They think every Final Four should be there. And it's pretty obvious to me that Canada thinks every World Junior event should be there, and that no one else should ever get it, and that how come the state of hockey can't support it? And they were talking about some of the ticket sales, and the ticket sales were tepid for some of the rounds. Now, I'm not here to say that everything that's been done and said and pitched and made available to everybody has been the most perfectly smooth thing of all time. But it just rankled me. It annoyed me because the comments are, well, this would never happen in Canada. Look at all the open seats for the U.S. game. Look at all the open seats for the Canada game. I thought this was the state of hockey. It's not the state of hockey. And I got ripped for this. I got into the Canadian algorithm.
Uh-oh.
But I just use myself as an example. And I know I don't speak for everybody, but I think I speak for a lot of people. Because even though I'm the only person from Edina that doesn't know how to skate, I am in the hockey community now as a hashtag hockey dad. And I'm learning as I go. I don't know everything, but I talk to people. I read things. I try to ask questions. When we have, safety meetings and parent parties, I'm usually hanging around and I'm listening. I'm trying to observe what's going on. I don't know this world. I'm trying to assimilate as best as I can. I don't speak the hockey language. You know this. But for a hockey parent who my son is the P1 audience for this event, like he should be going to this. He will be going to this at some point. Part of the problem when you have this preeminent World Junior event in the state of hockey, a lot of the people that want to go have hockey. We couldn't go to the first handful of games. We had hockey. Most of the people I know, their kids are on like 72 teams. It's December 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st. You think we take a holiday break? No, we don't. Those banners don't hang themselves. It's time to practice. We've got extra ice. Who'd USA play last game?
Slovakia.
We can't go to USA Slovakia. We got to have a scrimmage against Team 43. We have hockey. So I tweeted that out, just pretty benign. It's like, hey, a lot of us have stuff. I want to go. And the first opportunity I have to go is tomorrow. And guess what? I'll be there. Probably bringing my wife. Don't tell my 9-year-old, but we'll be there. And I got absolutely crushed in the comments because, and people are right. Do you think that Canada doesn't have that problem? Like, do you not think that they don't have hockey while this tournament's going on? Yes, I know, but it just feels different because it is like the national pastime up there. It's not it's the state's pastime here. We took our knocks in the penalty box. Our mother was the referee. There's a blue line around our state. I get all of it. I'm in all of it now. And because I got that a lot, so I just simply tweeted out, look, I'm just telling you my reality. I would have loved to have bought an all-session pass. I would have been at every game with my son. However, he's busy. He has a schedule, and we have hockey, and we'll be there when we can.
Well, not to mention some of it's noon on a work day.
There's that too. There's that too.
It's just a reality. And this isn't the first time that a sensation like this has happened. I mean, the NCHC isn't even doing they used to come to what was the X, now Grand Casino Arena every year. Guess what? They're not going anymore.
Right.
We had the Frozen Four as well. It was okay.
Yeah.
So I think we support our own, and I think that's why the tournament does so well.
Yes.
I think that's why the Wild do so well, and I think Team USA has done really well as well.
It seems like it's been awesome. You were there for the last game, and I can't wait to get there. And the other thing, too, is, as the tournament picks up steam, like every Big Ten tournament quarterfinal Thursday looks like Denmark and Latvia just did, right?
Yep.
And even though this was, and again, that was in the middle of a workday too, right? Like, I doubt people, I'm pretty sure our attendance is going to be pretty consistent outside of Canada, who's not coming for a million different reasons, as we've already laid out. Like, that's where they're going to get hurt, right? Like, Mariucci should be packed for the Canadian games. I don't know if it is. Historically, it would have been, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just not because they don't want to come. I get why they don't want to come, but that's a tough break. It's not because people don't support hockey here. I just got so defensive, and I did get crushed. And part of it I think I deserved because they obviously have hockey in Canada, too. Their kids are playing it in Canada, too.
Why aren't they coming down? Are they not committed to their team? They don't want to support us? A little drive?
I think it's more complicated than that. And
well, but that doesn't make a good bit, though.
Yeah, I know. But I don't want to make a bit out of geopolitical problems.
Oh, well. I wasn't going that way.
I'm not smart enough to do it.
Yeah.
I'm also reminded, thanks, Indy, like Minneapolis has so many great steakhouses. Mancini's in St. Paul. Right up there with St. Elmo's. In fact, I'd say better. Ambiance, vibe, way better. Mancini's in St. Paul than St. Elmo's or Harry and Izzy's. And I know for a fact the bartenders are even better. Because if you go get a drink at Mancini's in St. Paul, it's a good chance our guy Tim Cheetah is the one slinging it for you. And you can't get that in Indianapolis. Final segment of Bumper to Bumper tonight. After that.
Bumper to Bumper Show Wrap.
American Pressure, commercial grade pressure washer since 1975. They bring you the show wrap. Final segment of the show tonight. Tomorrow, we have Wild Hockey in the afternoon against San Jose, and that goes right into USA World Juniors against Sweden for all the Group A marbles. It is Halvey. I believe Mark Parrish is on there as well. I heard Halvey with Kevin Fallness a little bit earlier in the show.
Heck of a hockey game, the second of two great games here at the X thus far.
He's doing a great job on the call. It is fun. When Halvey gets the random bouts of energy, it's amazing what the young man can do. Don't let the KFAN.com/watch YouTube stream of the Power Trip Morning Show fool you. Halvey's got some jump.
Hermantown.
So when he gets a little jump and a little cold air Halvey in that Grand Casino Arena, it's something to behold, and he's doing a great job calling the games.
Riker Lee, the Michigan State Spartan, gives it over, gets it back, left side,
Hermantown.
circle, back door, shot, score!
Listen to the crowd.
Will Zellers on the power play! And it's 6-4, Team USA!
Here's my other favorite moment from Halvey on the call this year, World Juniors. I don't know, what was it? Was Slovakia last game?
It was.
Who did we play before?
Switzerland, I believe.
I think this is from the Switzerland game.
I go back to, this is really embarrassing to admit.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
It was the District 2 youth hockey playoffs.
Ooh.
And I can't believe I'm admitting this on the radio, but Anthony LaPanta was the public address announcer for our game.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
We had too many men,
Parrish sounds
and I
different.
volunteered to serve it just so Anthony LaPanta would say my name.
That's
sad.
Well, you had a future in broadcasting.
I did. I was in
Hermantown.
He's one of one, and he's on the call. But this, you were there. You've been at the games. Were you one game or two games?
That was my first game.
Are you going to make it back?
I hope so.
You intend? Because it's awesome, right?
It's so good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to weasel my way if they do play Canada, if and when they do. That's a game I want to go to.
Well, apparently Louis not using his tickets.
Yeah,
So
can I have them?
Maybe I should have asked Louis. Can Brett get your tickets, because that's so classic Louis. I'm going to help you with the tournament. I'm going to do everything I can. Do I have any duties on the championship game? I don't. Okay, I'm going to West Palm. Thanks. Good night and good luck. I'll watch the game on my sling box, staring out at the ocean. That's just so classic. That cracks me up. Couldn't go one more day. Couldn't go one more night. Has to get down there.
You seen the roads?
I have.
Can't blame them.
And now we're going to be driving home in the dark. Hopefully something has changed since I first got here about 6 hours ago, but the roads have been dicey. Be careful, everybody.
It rained before, Guardsy, so it's impossible to get rid of it.
I know. But get your tickets for tomorrow's game, and then Friday's game's at 5 o'clock, which is very exciting as well. The quarterfinals, one and done. And it should be cool. It should be very fun, and hopefully people are able to make it. Hopefully people are able to make it to Grand Casino Arena to watch the Americans. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, I wanted to thank Kevin Seifert for joining in studio, for braving the elements and coming in studio for an hour of Vikings talk. Spoiler alert, if you missed it, you might hear it on the Best of Bumper to Bumper on New Year's Day, because it was a nice, clean hour of Vikings-Packer discussion, Brian Flores discussion, J.J. McCarthy discussion. It was good stuff with Seifert. So if you missed it, podcast it, or just listen New Year's Day, because I have a hunch you're going to hear that. Coming up next, we've got Vikings Country with Muss. And then tomorrow, as I mentioned, there is a wild hockey game in the afternoon. And then a little bit later, the World Junior game with Halvey, Hermantown, Mark Parrish, and Sweden from Grand Casino Arena. Thanks for pulling the triple shift, double shift, whatever it was today, Brett. Thanks, everybody, for listening. All of it will be podcasted. Vikings Country is next. Have an elite Tuesday evening.